Hello everyone, this is C9 Agent coming at you from Sydney, Australia for CastCraftAU, and today I'm going to be casting a 1 versus 1 between TimidRat and mJET, two of our players from the current CastCraftAU tournament, the largest of its kind in the country, and we're currently in the preliminary pre-season exhibition matches before the commencement of the tournament proper. This is going to be one of those friendly games. Let's introduce our players. Spawning down in the 4 o'clock position, we see our fearless leader TimidRat. He's going to be playing as the purple Protoss. Now TimidRat, he's in fact the head administrator of the CastCraftAU tournament, and he's also its lead tournament caster. He's currently in the top of the Bronze League in the Australian circuit. I believe he's been fluctuating up and down within sort of the top 4 or 5 positions within the SCLR, and that was actually during the season lockdown, which means he'll almost certainly be seeing a really fast promotion into the Silver League in the opening days of Season 4. I think this should actually be a really tight match for him, as his opponent currently stands undefeated in the preliminaries, and in the usual sort of back and forth friendlies that always occur between players in the warm-up stages before the tournament sort of commences. Now that opponent is going to be mJET, spawning down in the 8 o'clock position as our yellow Terran. Now mJET, he's taken something of a hiatus from the game recently, and he's just returned in full force for the CastCraftAU tournament. He's currently sitting in the Gold League at the moment on the SCA circuit. We've seen some really interesting tactics from this guy in the past, so I'm really interested to see what sort of strategy he decides to pull out in this best-of-3 series, starting with this one, the first game of the preliminaries between these two players. Now this map's going to be played on Syrian Crater, which has kind of difficult to defend natural expansions here. We've got 2 separate entries into this natural expansion, led to by kind of a wide ramp, which is really hard to block off, which leads down to our gold expansion as a third defended or protected by these destructible rocks, which as always have to be taken out before the expansion can be built. Let's take a look at what our players are doing. We're seeing an early gas from mJET. It looks like he's going to be getting some early upgrades. He's only got 2 workers in there, so I'm not sure how quickly he's going to be able to do that. Common mistake amongst beginning players. I didn't really expect to see that from mJET. He's going for the double barracks fast aggression, so we're going to be seeing possibly some one-base play here. This probe from TimidRat, he's actually going to get in through a very small gap here. Quite surprising. I would have thought that was probe tight, but he's going to get in and see exactly what's going on. He's going to know what we're doing here. He's got kind of a convoluted scout path here. It doesn't look like he's aware of the patrol path trick. All you need to do is set 4 points here, 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 and here as patrol points, linking back to the original one, and that probe will just scout around indefinitely until further notice. So it's a really good way to get early scouting. You can also stick a patrol point up here as well to see what he's doing at his ramp. Now it looks like we now have a pretty solid wall in. He's locked one of his SCVs up, but he can be using that to scout. Over in the camp of the Protoss, we're seeing, what have we got here? Pretty usual, pretty standard timings here within the simulator, with all 3 workers in there chasing this SCV around a little bit, who is going to escape quite soundly. We've got the 1 gateway and the cyber core coming down. He's not getting this warp gate research yet, which is really surprising to see. We are going to see 2 more gateways. That's really early for a aggression push here. It's going to be interesting. Both players seem to be preparing for some very early aggression. We've got our mules down already, the orbital command already underway, and we've got an assimilator steel here. We've got 1 marine slowly, 2 marines working away at this now with a pylon inside the base. It's kind of interesting. He's using this mostly, I don't think he's really expecting to get away with any early warp gate play here, since he hasn't even researched it. It is just now on its way. We are going to be seeing this 3 gate and 1 robo style of play, which is very effective against Terran. I'm wondering whether we're going to see, since he does know that we've got early, in fact, look at this, we've got 3 barracks coming down now with 2 tech labs. I feel sure we're going to see a reactor on this 3rd barracks. Very difficult to maintain 3 tech labs on a single base. He's going to need to be expanding quite early in order to recover for this the loss of this gas here, if he wants to run 3 tech labs constantly producing marauders. Let's take a look back over at Protoss again. We're not seeing any production here, no units of any kind. I wonder if he is looking to make use of, here we go, we've got ourselves a proxy pylon here, which I didn't notice earlier on. And we're going to see some Reaper play. We've got, how many Reapers have we got so far? There's 2 of them on the way, 2 of them already out rather, with 2 more on the way. Very interesting. We don't have any speed upgrade yet in the absence of a factory, which is going down now. I wonder if we're going to see the speed upgrade come down before we actually move in with these boys. Let's see, where is he going to rally them? We've got 3 of them coming down here. He could move in for a nice early push. or he might stick around and wait for that speed boost. We'll see. There goes the reactor. It was inevitable to see that one. I wonder how quickly we're going to see the expansion. Here it comes now. So looking like we're seeing some early aggression and some solid macro play from mJET for the time being. He's rallying these Reapers in, ready to make an attack straight up this ramp. Actually, he can't get up here. He's going to have to come up here first and then along here. So if there was any kind of defense here for TimidRat, we're only going to be seeing these 3 Zealots, which are completely ineffective against Reapers. They're going to have a really hard time dealing with this. He's just going to be chasing them around and around indefinitely. What are we seeing out of this Robo Factory? You've got an observer. He is going to be able to get in and see what's going on, but we're not seeing anything here that's going to be able to counteract these Reapers when and if they do choose to move in. Here they come now. He's got the scan down. He knows there's nothing up here that can deal with this. Down he comes straight into the mineral line. Are we going to see a warp in? Yes, we are. Here come the Stalkers now, and that in fact is going to be enough to stop these Reapers. Let's see how many kills are we going to see here before these Reapers finally go down. He's getting quite a lot of kills here. Those Stalkers are going to take down all 5 of those Reapers. And let's take a quick look here. We are going to see 9 workers killed. That's quite an impressive hit rate, but he did lose 5 Reapers in the process. That's a lot of gas that he's wasted on that. Wasted, not sure. We're going to have to wait and see how effective that turns out to be, how much effect it's actually had on the economy of TimidRat. It doesn't look like it's going to affect him too badly. He's got his first Immortal on the way with his +1 upgrade here. Army looking a little bit thin. Normally that's okay when you have a sentry or 2 to block off this ramp here, but he's not been making any sentries whatsoever. We'll see how time will tell how effective that strategy will be. There goes the Immortal now. Over in the camp of mJET, we see he's got his expansion, but he's not upgraded to the orbital command, and he's not producing any SCVs. Oh, here comes a very small, that's not a transfer at all actually, he's going to be building his defensive line. So we've gone to the expense and the time of creating this expansion. Doesn't look like we're going to be using it in any way whatsoever. Here comes a Warp Prism from TimidRat. He's going to be hitting the expansion. That's going to lift up straight away, I expect, not going to cause much damage. On the other hand, these 3 Zealots are going to be causing substantial damage here. There's no reaction of any kind. He's moving in to engage with these SCVs. Definitely a mistake. He needs to get out of there as quickly as he can. We should be seeing this army reacting now. There goes the expansion up and in the air, well and truly out of danger. But we've had some substantial damage caused over here by these 3 Zealots. Such a simple play, so effective when you get your army caught out of position. Let's take a look here. 15 workers killed, much more substantial effort than the Reapers actually achieved. So we've seen a complete reversal here. We are seeing the mules come down. He's only got the energy for 1, and we're seeing a mass construction of SCVs. Now this expansion really needs to get back down to work. We do see that the Protoss has expanded. This is almost complete, and he's going to be far, far ahead in the income. Taking a look at the units tab, we've got 24 probes up against just 16 SCVs. It's kind of a massive difference here. We need to see some massive mule deployment, and we really need this command center to be upgraded into an orbital command. He's never going to be able to catch up on income without the use of those mules. He has cleared the way up here. I want to see this command center drop immediately. We need to see some massive SCV production out of both of these. We've got to get these mules down. He's wasting a great deal of energy here. He's only a few points up, but every second counts when you're behind like this. He did in fact lose all of his workers that were on gas, and he has not replaced them. I wonder if he realizes that that's even taken place. It's a big deal for him. We have a starport with a reactor, but we're not seeing any medivacs at this stage, only a very small army still. He needs to recover very quickly. Get this army back down into your defensive line, stick them in the bunkers, or start moving out with them. You need to, he really needs to start using this expansion. It's a waste of 400 minerals to not even bother using it. Come on, upgrade it. He's selected it. He's not going to upgrade it. Do we have a transfer? He's running out of minerals rapidly here. Let's see. Well, we're finally getting the stim pack upgrade. He's adding on another couple of barracks, but he's not going to have the mineral income to support this for very long. Over here, we're seeing a Dark Shrine out of our Protoss player. There's another Immortal coming down, and we're seeing +1 armor. Here comes a probe transfer up to the new expansion. He's building out of that as well. Here come the probes. Army composition looking interesting. We're very zealot heavy. We do have this Immortal plus the new one that's on its way out now. Going to be effective against, well, against the Marauders, really. The Marines are going to be able to duck and weave quite a bit. He's not very heavy on the Stalkers. So being a, let's take a look. What sort of army have we got here? Yeah, we've got a good bio-ball army here. Here comes the first of the medivacs. He's going to need to, substantially increase this army as well as get some more medivacs if he plans on making any drops, which are, of course, the real power of Terran. You need to capitalize on your mobility with these medivacs, getting as many drops down as you can. The more drops you're making as a Terran, generally speaking, the better. You've got to keep your opponent on the move. I'm seeing a warp prism down here in the south. I don't know whether he's just spotting or whether he's planning on making a drop here. There's really nothing down here to destroy at this point, although there is, of course, that dark shrine, which is just coming online now. What are we going to see here? Are we going to see some DTs coming out here, or are we going to see a round of walk-ins? Wow, we're seeing a great number of gateways. This is interesting. Recently, we're seeing a lot of Protoss players on the professional circuit, and I'm aware that TimidRat is very familiar with the way the pros have been playing. He keeps a close eye on the pro circuit. We're seeing a lot of Protoss players these days. Once you're ahead in terms of military superiority, which he knows that he is at this stage, dropping down a lot of gateways, upgrading them into warp gates, and keeping them as idle as possible, whilst building up your probe count very heavily, expand, and add on as many warp gates as you can, so that when you do see the inevitable push, it looks like it's coming right now, he can very quickly lay down a large defensive army. If you've been keeping your Nexus energy up, you can quickly chrono boost all of the warp gates, and 20 seconds later, bust out another full round of warp-ins. Now, mJET actually destroying both of these rocks, leading to a much quicker assault path. He's going to walk smack into the army of our Protoss player, which is composed quite well to repel this army. Do we have Zealot legs? In fact, we do, so he's ready to go to tackle this army. He's only got a single medivac, so he's not going to be able to do much drop play. I'd really like to see some more medivacs from mJET here. Here come the DTs. They've been split up. Oh my goodness. It looks like I've missed quite a bit of action here. He has been going to town on these SCVs. That is a tremendous loss for mJET. His army just coming in now. He's going to surround those DTs, drop down a scan. Has he got the energy? He does. And those DTs have much more than paid for themselves. That was a tremendous victory for him. Taking a look at the units tab, what are we seeing here? 7 SCVs for mJET. Wow, that's an almost unrecoverable loss there. His main is almost completely mined out. He's got nothing at work in the expansion, still not even the upgrade. He's needed this orbital command since the first loss of SCVs when that warp prism dropped in up here and took out all his workers. He really needed to maintain those mules in order to stand a chance of, look at the difference in minerals here. 137 minerals for the Terran up against almost 1,500 for the Protoss. Playing very, very smart TimidRat. He's got very, very heavy Zealot composition here with a couple of Immortals to deal with the Marauders. We're still only seeing a single medivac. I'd really like to see some drops out of mJET here. He needs to start dropping in the back of... Wow. Here come the Archons. That's going to be very effective. He's seen the enemy composition. He knows that he's up against primarily Bioball, in fact completely Bioball. There are no factory units here at all. So those Archons are going to be extremely effective with their splash damage, doing extra damage against light units. I think mJET is going to be in a great deal of trouble. He just doesn't have the money to break out things like Thors and tanks, which he's going to need to deal with those Archons. His only chance at this stage, I think, along with constant production of SCVs and getting those mules out, he needs to start dropping. He needs to keep this. This is quite a death ball. Although there are no Colossus involved, these Archons and the Immortals are going to make very short work. Here comes a drop now, as a matter of fact. I hope that this is effective for him, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Let's see, where is this medivac headed right now? He's going up to that gold expansion, which has just been dropped by the Protoss. He sees the probe coming out, so he knows there's something there. Not sure whether he's already scanned it ahead of time or not. There are some Zealots here ready to defend. He's not going to be able to cause a lot of damage here. I think those Zealots are going to be enough. What he needs to do is head up this cliff here and then around such that these Zealots can't follow. Here comes a Stalker. He's going to push away that medivac. He needs to find an effective place to drop, maybe up around this area here, such that he can kill this probe and get onto these buildings that are under construction. Looks like he's doing exactly that. Staying out of range of the cannons, we're going to see this army respond, I think. Not sure how much damage he's going to be able to do here. No, he's getting away with a couple of badly damaged Marines. Didn't even need to use his primary army. He's got a secondary defense here. This is going to be no problem whatsoever for TimidRat. He's going to get away with this gold expansion without any issue. And here comes the mass push here. He did make a full round of DTs a moment ago. Turned them into, as I said earlier, all these Archons are going to be so effective against this Marine composition, this Marine Marauder composition. Where did that medevac go? I don't think it got destroyed. He's dropped them up here. I'm not sure why that is. But here comes a push now from our Terran player. Not sure how effective it's going to be. He may be able to get all of these workers before TimidRat's army is able to respond. He's actually managed to make it up this ramp, which is a tremendous advantage if he can pick off some of these units. I don't think he's going to have enough staff. There are just too many zealots here. These mid shields really count for something. Let's take a look. Our upgrades are looking at 1 and 2. He's going to be able to clean this up. Look, even this flanking maneuver from behind, there is just nowhere for those Marauders to run. And that was an absolute ousting. I don't know what is going to happen here for our Terran player. He just doesn't have the income. He doesn't have the resources. He doesn't have sufficient production facilities to recover from this. His macro game is slipping. He's just not got enough stuff to defend the inevitable counter. It's got to be right on his heels. Well, looks like we had an observer who already knows where this game is going. He's on his way, and perhaps we've got a little bit of lag in the game. Though at this stage, I'm not sure it makes much difference. I can't really see any way that this Terran can recover from this. Oh, wow. So many Zealots coming in. There's just nothing he can do. Up comes the defensive army. It's going to be absolutely slaughtered by these Marauders, by these Archons and Immortals. I'd say this base is done and dusted. Absolute slaughterhouse. He's even got the War Prism in here, which he could deploy and fire in some more reinforcing units, but I don't think he's going to need it. That's the entire army for mJET destroyed, the expansion gone. He has 0 income. There's the GG. And the first game in this best of 3 series goes to TimidRat with an overwhelming push, first on the natural expansion, moving directly into the main almost unopposed. And after the complete crushing of mJET's army during his doomed assault on the Protoss base, there was just nothing he could do to respond to the inevitable counterattack. Well, that's it for the first game of the series, and this is C9 Agent for CastCraftAU, over and out.